Cari amici sportivi, welcome yet to another Milan Weekly podcast. Here we talk everything Milan, from the Scudetto race, fourth spot Milan, Coppa Italia, hopefully Champions League next year.
Champions League, io ci credo.
And when we're not professionals,
Nor do we pretend to be.
and guys, it's to the point that if you're watching on YouTube, Steve is having a beer with me. A salud.
Draw near sorrows.
Guys, we're gonna have lots to talk about today. We're gonna bring on Jan after. Jan is a fellow Milan Club Montreal member, which was part of the nice gathering we had yesterday,
Yeah,
and
very
the
nice.
beautiful pictures that we saw across the land, across the world, of guys getting to watch the game, getting together, or Sergio from the club that was actually at the game trying to live video us. The connection over there was really bad. Steve, why don't we just lighten up the mood a little bit? Because we're pissed off. We're pissed off. Steve, Presidente couldn't make it yesterday. The legend of the president. But I hear that you know what happened yesterday after the game.
Yeah. So, guys, Presidente, he gives us presidential points. From time to time, he decides to take a break. But after the crushing derby loss to the Snakes of Inter, Presidente was angry. Now, everybody who's met Presidente firsthand knows that it takes a lot for him to get angry.
It does?
Yeah. So yesterday, he was after the game. He put down his pasta parad.
Copenhagen.
He threw everything on umizal, everything, because he was doing the dishes. First lady doesn't do the dishes.
Remember that.
And he says, "Enough's enough." Summer was coming. He felt the winds of change, and he decided to take out his car. What car is he driving again?
1978 Monte Carlo.
1978 Monte Carlo, chocolate brown, burgundy interior,
Apricot.
apricot interior, the two dice hanging die.
Well, yeah, but he took it out of the garage because it was covered. He doesn't
Of
take
course,
it out.
of course.
Guys, doesn't take it
And
out.
you guys, you have to picture him. He ripped off the cover.
Yeah,
He just
he was
didn't
mad.
take it out. He was mad. Because usually he takes out the cover. He calculates taking out the cover. This, he ripped it off. And he started it. And he had, the pear juice. Because he doesn't drink.
No.
Right? So the pear juice, he smashed the pear juice on the floor. Bang! Glass everywhere. But he didn't care.
No.
A little bit of pear juice on the wheels. He doesn't care. He gets into the car. He slams the door. Gently puts it into reverse. Puts his arm on the headrest. Mirror, mirror, blind spot. Mirror, mirror, blind spot. Puts it in reverse. Gets out. Checks both ways.
He's still in the garage.
And he drives off. At 10 miles per hour. 10 kilometers per hour, not miles per hour.
Yeah.
As he's flying down at 10 miles per hour on the street, of course, he stops to say hi to the neighbors.
Obviously.
Because Presidente is mad, but he disrespects no one. And all the penalty shot was in his head. The 1-0 after 2 minutes was in his head. He was mad.
The
He was mad.
Kessié-Biglia.
And someone cut him off.
Somebody cut him
Cut him off. And as he goes and he meets to the stop sign, he's mad. He's gonna get angry. He rolls down the window and he says, "You should check your blind spot, sir." And he races off.
You wanna re-say that in his voice?
"Hey, you there! You better check your blind spot." And he races off. No presidential points. The presidential points come.
They came, but they came not as many as usual. But guys,
Watered down version.
So if I know Presidente can make it most of the time, but he was pissed off. He was pissed off as well, and you know what? Let's just call him. Let's just call Jan right away, and then we're gonna get straight into the presidential points. So let's see. We're gonna test out this. Oh no, this is very.
Hello.
Hello there, good evening. We're not in a very good mood, Jan. First of all, guys, please welcome a Milan Club fellow member. Jan, he's a waiter slash musician slash Milan fan, and yesterday, he's a hell of a drinker. I had to keep up with the
Yes.
guy. We had 3 pitchers of beer, and we didn't feel too bad because we gave out like 2 cups, just to say. So we didn't really drink 3 pitchers of beer. We gave up 2 cups.
Exactly. Exactly.
Jan, how are you the day after?
Thanks for having me on, guys. It's really a pleasure. I don't know about you, I'm still pretty mad about yesterday. I woke up this morning and I just thought, it's just a loss to Inter, but it was really bad considering how we've been playing for the last 2-3 months and the whole build-up to this game and how much we've been laughing at Inter and all the disaster that they've been going through. We have to give them a helping hand somewhere. Like we might have helped them save their season just by letting them beat us. And I say let them beat us because I don't think that we let them. We win. We were shell shocked. It was I don't know. It was disgusting to watch.
And I went to pick him up, and I was saying on the way, I'm like, the Europa League result, I had a bad feeling from Inter because to them it was really a do or die situation. But we didn't show up, and people could talk about. And we're gonna get into it, the refereeing, but we didn't merit the 3 points in that game. That's for sure. And before we get into the presidential points, just give us a quick, how did you get to love our beloved Milan?
So I'm about 37 years old. So I started falling in love with Milan like back in the Sacchi days. I was very young. I was 7, 8 years old, and I remember my grandfather sitting me down to watch. And my grandfather wasn't a Milan fan. He was from Vicenza. He really liked Vicenza as a soccer team, but he saw this team coming in Milan with all these players. And I really focused on Paolo Maldini as my player that I really looked up to. I tried to play the same position as him as a child and even as a teenager when I played soccer. So Paolo Maldini was a big influence. And I think also the teams that had Kaká and Shevchenko really left a mark on me growing up, and it would be so good to see them go back to that one day. So yeah, that was how I became a Milan fan.
Do you see, like, even talking about Milan the day after, we're just like, there's no enthusiasm.
It's rough. It's rough.
So before we get into the presidential points, how was it getting invited personally from President? You got the encrypted call, right, from on your back phone, and the voice was gargled because he didn't want you to recognize exactly who he was and everything, but you got the clear instructions, correct?
Yeah, at first I didn't know who was calling. It was like a private block caller, so then I had to let him text me, and then I saw that it was President, and he asked me if I would like to be on the podcast after the derby, to also, since I was at the first derby of the year in October, which I don't know if Milan played better in that derby, but it was a very big letdown as well. But still being there at the stadium was something that was very, very memorable for me, and I'll always remember. But yeah, the Presidente called me up, and I was very honored to be on this podcast.
And just for our North American listeners, what was very quickly? What was your process of guys? He was there at the Derby last year. Take us through the process of how easy or hard it was for you to get tickets and prices and where you were sitting.
So, if budget is not an option for somebody that would like to go watch one of these games, there's plenty of sites. One of them, Viagogo, they charge an arm and a leg for you to get a ticket, but they put the tickets on sale way before the clubs do, and I think it's because they have bots or people that get paid to go and then with your purchase, go and make sure that you get a ticket when they actually go on sale. So if you don't want a headache, you can go with the Viagogo, but you will be paying 4 or 5 times the price from the box office. What I did, and unfortunately, Inter was the home game, so I actually had to visit the Inter website, which still to this day I didn't really feel proud doing. It was kind of gross. So you go there, and Inter's website is actually very easy to navigate compared to ours, which is surprising. So you get all the information there, and you got to wait for the certain dates that they say they're going to be putting on the tickets for sale for the away team. So since Milan was the away team, I had to wait for a certain amount of time. And then I finally I got tickets behind the Curva Sud, behind our ultras. Even though it was full of Inter fans, there were still a few Milan fans in that section, and the tickets ran me about 45 euros each, which was way better than I would have had to have done with the Via Gogo. If you want more expensive tickets, you can. It's all the same. They sell different parts of the stadium at different dates, and I think it's the same for every team in Italy. So I just have to keep an eye on the website of whoever the home team is. And as far as the experience of buying them, at first it was very nerve-wracking because there's no communication with people from the outside. Like, I sent emails. I tried to get phone numbers to call, even if I had to pay long distance, and it's very not apparent on how to get tickets. So hopefully in Italy they improve on that in the coming years, because if they want to grow the game with foreign people to come and watch the game, they're going to have to make it a lot more accessible for us.
So at least, he was able to get to watch a derby, and for us pretty soon, Steve, we got to go see those guys in Dublin. And before we get into the presidential points, I want to have a bit of positive, and I found that this was a pretty nice post from Milan Club Dublin, and I liked it because it was signed the president. So you see, the presidents of all the clubs. We did not lose one game only since December. No point in being too defeatist at this stage. The fourth and third places are still achievable objectives. We must be optimistic for a positive end of the season. 10 games to go till the end of Serie A and Coppa Italia to win. Forza Milan. So I think he has the frustration of playing because we don't like to lose to those snakes, especially when they were a broken team the way they are. But taking from this positive, let's get straight into point number one, stage fright. Although Milan lost for just the first time since December, the weak mentality and lack of experience conversation has resurfaced once again. While Gattuso has led Milan to fourth place with 10 games to go, it seems his tactic styles of play are the same whenever Milan is playing against Chievo or a big club. Vinny has often said that we had no business being in third, and maybe this was a reality check. Roma and Inter were ripe for the taking, and then they play us. We make them look like they're Man City or Barcelona. In 13 Serie A games against the top clubs, Milan has 3 wins, 5 losses, and 5 draws. Unacceptable for a team aspiring to return to prominence. Steve, I'm going to go with you first. Why can't Milan bring their games to the next level, especially in a derby? Is it Gattuso still showing his inexperience by approaching each game the same way? Is young team still in panic mode when the stakes are high, or just have we don't have the quality to raise that extra notch there against these big teams?
These players are all young. I'm not going to make any excuses. I'm really, really pissed off tonight, guys, because not only did we lose both derbies this year, we lost and we didn't even show up. The first game, we decided to play the derby for a draw.
Yeah.
And we were going to be content with the draw, which is not Milan DNA.
And we got it in the
And we got it handed to us, right? We deservedly lost the 3 points there. Jan was fortunately, a spectator, front row seats to that. But us watching from home, we did not show up for that game. And we've been criticized, and I listened to all the other podcasts, justfully so, saying that derby there, we did not show up to. We didn't want to play.
Yeah.
We didn't want to play. We just wanted to coast and try to get a draw and try to keep some positivity. There's times to keep positivity, and there's times to go for it. Now, this derby here, this was time to, whatever cliche you want to use, put the dagger, put your foot on their throat, rip off their head, whatever the hell you want to use as a stupid cliche. This was it. What pissed me off the most is, how do you not get up as a team? Inexperienced. Whatever excuse you want to get, it's inexcusable. Because this was a game where Inter had so many problems. Off the pitch, on the pitch. What was the point of not showing up for this game? And it's obvious, we were down 1-0 after 3 minutes.
Do you think, Jan, it was maybe us being too cocky to a certain point?
Because
What cocky?
Cocky?
But the way they came out, I don't know.
There's no cocky.
We're laughing at Inter. Everybody seemed that we were going to win this game before we started playing it.
Well, that's unfortunate. That's social media talk. I don't care about social media talk. These guys, we can't control them. We can control our phones, we can control our posts, but we can't control these 11 players. It's Gattuso's job to get them up for this game. And I told you guys last week, I want to see the best 11 players. And if I'm not seeing the best 11 players after the first half, you better make sure that I see the best 11 players. And we didn't see the best 11 players throughout the whole game. We'll get into it again.
Yeah.
You know where I'm going with Suso.
We're gonna get into it the next one.
Yeah.
But Jan, are we stuck always saying the same thing? It doesn't seem that we can face these big teams, or couldn't we have done anything differently? Like, armchair quarterback the day after is kind of easy. But where are you stand on all this?
I think that the players that we have in certain positions that are expected to be our go-to guys right now, every time it's a big game, 3/4 of them don't show up.
Yeah, and I agree with you.
We have a number 10 that's running on one wing that's not playing like a number 10. We have a guy, Suso, on the right wing that that people are saying, oh, he has a release clause. Who's going to want a guy like that disappears in these big games? He's not. These guys are not playing to the level that we need them to play, but maybe they're just not the players for that level that we need them to play. You can't get something out of a guy that he can't give it to you. You know what I mean? Maybe that's the limit of their talent.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Jan. Let me ask you this. We're here in North America, one goddamn ocean away. And I can tell you, I watch a shitload of soccer. And I've seen Suso get bossed by Asamoah.
Asamoah, guys.
At least 3 times. 3 times. Once with Juve and 2 times now with Inter, bossed. Maybe Gattuso, Suso wasn't the start today. Or you know what, guys? Hey, let's use a little bit of imagination. Let's put Chanaloglu on one side and bring Suso to the other side away from Asamoah. No, we can't do that because Suso is a one-footed player.
Or how Chanaloglu did a lot better in midfield after we made that change, which we're going to get into.
That's true.
You know what, this is going to be a long podcast, so let's get these questions. Look at the Milan club chat. Jan, are you live there? There's 20 messages. Everybody's pissed off.
Another presidential rule was I had to turn off my notifications, guys. So I don't want them to get mad, so I turned them off.
Look at that. He's following the instructions. Chapter 2, holes on defense. Milan have been very solid defensively as of late, conceding only 3 goals the prior 5 games, yet they conceded 3 to Inter. Jan, did Inter find and exploit a weakness yesterday that only other teams did not? Or is it Milan backline led by Romagnoli that just had a mental breakdown and were unable to adjust to Inter's changes in formation that left too many bodies with lots of open space?
Can my indigestion of the week be the president? Because I'm going to lose my shit at this point. Go. Go.
You could do whatever you want.
Go, Jan.
I personally, from what I saw in the game yesterday, I thought there was a big hole in front of the defense between Bakayoko, Kessié, and
That's why I
Paqueta.
love this guy.
I felt that they let Inter come in a lot more than they've let any other team come in the last, let's say, 10 to 12 games that they've played. Inter, let's be honest, got lucky on 2 goals. The first goal was just a ping pong, and the third goal was a penalty shot. That's pure fluke. So I'm not going to really blame the back line on this game. I'm going to more blame the midfield that they weren't playing as well as we've seen them play. They weren't shutting them down. I felt like the team was running around like chickens without a head for the first 75 minutes of this game. Like they didn't know where to go, or they were overwhelmed, or whatever the case may be. But I wouldn't really put the blame on the center backs and the wing backs, but more on the midfield in this game that they really let everybody down. They weren't breaking the pace in the middle. They were just letting guys walk right through, and I kept the ball for way too long.
That's well said.
Let's give some credit to Inter.
Yeah. No,
okay, because Vecino can't make a 4-foot pass when he plays against Chievo, but always seems to score and puts in magical crosses against Milan.
All of a sudden.
Perisic had the game of the year. Saved it for the derby. Brozovic, can't complain Brozovic. He's not friends with Wanda.
No.
But let me tell you, he shows up for the derby. Bald Bonville and Spalletti seem to have figured out Milan.
And speaking of snakes, maybe this is all Francis' fault. Because Francis, he took his courage with both his hands and he walked into Chucharos with his Inter jersey, but he escaped. He escaped after halftime. And I texted him, "Are you gonna come on to the show? You're gonna call?" "No, guys, I don't wanna get your listeners mad. I promise I'm gonna call when you guys beat us." And I'm like, this is a kind of a trend that I'm getting, because Mikey at the bar, the Interista, I discovered what his strategy is. He puts himself so down that I have no reply. So I'm about to trash talk, and he's like, "No, you guys, man, you guys are the better team.
Yeah,
we
man.
suck with this, with that. So you Interistas, we're on to you. Even you, Nima, we're looking at you from across.
But
from across
this
the
is social media at its best.
Yeah.
We have clean sheets. The defense is the next Azzurri defense. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Everybody forgets Gigio makes stunning stops. Has made
I
stops.
got no problems. With
No
people.
one could blame Gigio.
Why are people criticizing him on the second
I have
goal?
no idea. I have no idea.
No,
You cannot
it's not
stop
fault
those.
of
You
anyone.
cannot
you can't stop those. And
I would just criticize that maybe he had to get a hand on that cross. But it wasn't even a regular cross. It was like a just hope for anything, and it ended up finding someone
and
at the back post.
the penalty, you knew exactly that it was
The
going
penalty,
center.
it was a terribly taken penalty. So everybody in Interland who says what a fantastic penalty, he went the wrong way. Gigio went the wrong way, and still reaction was still about to get it.
Yeah.
So don't tell me Lotto
it's so
Martinez
fast,
il Toro, non vale un cazzo di niente il Toro, because their best player, the wife, forbid him. He can't even. Their Inter's best player can't even go to the stupid San Siro at the games because they threatened him. What kind of team did we lose to yesterday?
Guys, I love how like now like through the application I can see like the red spikes as soon as Steve gets nervous. It looks like it's connected to his heart rate.
But wait, let's continue with this game. Let's continue this game because it pissed me off. We even had a chance to get back into this game.
We did.
We had a chance to get back into this game.
We did.
And then we saw. Is this a point?
Guys, I don't think we're following the presidential points today because Steve is on a roll.
Yeah, and then this referee, which I look, I'm gonna tell everybody. The way the penalty was called, for me, is just mind-boggling because how he saw that while he was about to rip his groin is beyond me. Us on TV, we had trouble seeing it.
And we were all discussing.
And he was going to call a penalty. Okay, he was going to call a penalty. You tell me, Vinny and Jan, how he could be 1,000% sure that was a foul.
Or
he was lucky. He
now,
was lucky.
People, it's guys. Let's remember, it's easy to say after the fact to say, "Oh, you can definitely see him dragging his leg trying to get the foul." Guys,
that's in super slow motion.
And-
El amor di Dio.
And inside, and I was looking at Jan after 6 beers, and I'm like, "How is this not VAR reviewable?" And
Exactly,
we're trying to
that's my
figure out,
point.
like, why is it not VAR reviewable? What's your take on the refereeing of this game, Jan?
The classic refereeing in any big Italian league match, the ref has to be the superstar. The ref has to have his name on the front cover. He has to be ahead of the goal scorers. He has to be ahead of everything. The ref made it about him from the start of that game, and I'm pretty sure Inter fans are going to feel the same way. He gave some bad calls on both teams. So the ones that affected Milan the most, obviously, were the ones that led to goals. But yes, let's say that was a penalty shot. But like Steve says, how do you not go to VAR to confirm it? How do you just say no, that's a penalty shot?
I'm not saying that it was or it wasn't. It's
just
dubious.
and guys, but excuse me, if you're not going to review that, I believe, sorry, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Let's review a red card call. You know what? No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We're gonna rescind it and give you a yellow card.
Yeah.
You took the time, or please explain to us how the fuck this process. I'm sorry, we're swearing. What's this process? You're gonna recall. It's at the end of the game. Let's go take a look if Conti red card or not red card. It's just a complete mess. And yes, like I was saying, it looks like these refs kind of like take to and. Now we're not blaming Inter winning because of this ref because we didn't show up.
had no business being in this game, and I'm not afraid to say it. And I'm not being negative. I'm happy that we're still in fourth spot. Do I believe that we can make Champions League? Yes, but il derby della Madonnina is il derby della Madonnina, guys.
Yeah.
Let's face it. You can tell me, yeah, it's okay. We're gonna win the next game against Kiev and Empoli. In the end, I don't care.
It's Inter, guys.
I don't care. I'm fed up of losing these. I'm fed up of losing these big
When was the last
matches.
time we won an actual derby? I think. What was it? Yeah, and I think
Oh, that's a long time ago.
Alex.
3-4 seasons ago.
when we won
Alex.
3-0, when Alex scored a header goal, guys. Alex. Anyways, you know what? I'm gonna skip point number 3, even though it's a very good point because I want to talk about this. We were watching the game. We didn't catch everything from this, guys. I am more pissed off about this whole Kessié-Biglia thing because this is Milan. I get, and I want to get your opinions on this, guys, from what we've seen. I don't care you came out and apologized. I don't care Biglia took responsibility for what's saying. You made a scene in front of everybody, and Gattuso saying they're lucky that I wasn't there seeing that, because I think it would have gotten even worse. Because Gattuso would have gotten, his emotions would have got the best of him. Ma questo non sono cose da Milan, questo non è roba da Milan. And I'm trying to picture, we like to joke around with Tommy, with the Sakis and this and that. Guys, when would you see something like this happen in the glory days of Milan? And I don't care if they have apologized. This is bad. You shouldn't have done that, and I just hope that it's quickly forgotten. What were your emotions, Steve, when you saw that?
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
You, Jan?
I think it looks worse in the still frames and the gifs that you see on Twitter than what actually happened. That's my opinion. I do think that there was reports that came out this morning from the Gazzetta dello Sport that Kessié was getting a racist chants against him from some Inter fans. So that could have played a factor in him losing his fuse a bit earlier with his teammates. We don't know what was actually said, but I'm with Steve. I don't think it's the end of the world. I think they'll patch it up.
I think
we're going to figure it out this week.
My honest opinion is, I think if there's no internet, we don't even hear about this. And I'm going to tell you why. First of all, Gattuso I understand he has his coach's hat on.
Yeah.
But there's no reason for him to draw attention to this. He should have just let it go. Because where we lost this game is on the field, not off the field. I don't care if they were throwing punches at each other. It would have been better if they would have been both on the field throwing punches at each other. Second of all, what a terrible change. Conte in, Kessié out. Paquetá, I was pissed off, but apparently he was injured.
Okay.
I'll give him the injury.
But I like Çalhanoğlu on the... Guys, if you don't mind, I'm going to attempt something because I like this conversation. I'm going to try to patch in Tommy to have a three-way call because I want to ask you guys about, the substitutions, the tactics, and because, I don't know if you knew, Steve, Jan and Tommy, they had a beef at one point on the WhatsApp, even with Alex, but I loved it yesterday because they all hugged each other, everything was fine. I love it, guys. Let me try. Who knows? Tommy. How do I do this? How do I search contacts? Tommy. Okay, here we go.
No, Jan's gonna go on hold.
Is he? Jan is on hold, and then what do I do? A three-way?
Merge.
Good evening, fellas.
Good evening, Tommy. Hold on a second, because right now we're doing something different. Jan, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, Tommy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
This is a first. The first three-way call.
Guys, this is a first. Tommy, wanted to call you because we skipped over a couple of presidential points and we're getting into the tactics and the substitutions. And I'm like, who better maybe to have a different opinion from here? Jan is on the call too. We got Tommy. We got Steve.
Hello, Jan.
Hello.
Sorry, guys. Do you hear me good? Because I'm in my car. My Bluetooth. I don't know. I'm free. You guys hear me good or not?
You sound fantastic.
Crystal clear. Crystal clear.
So let's go with the Paquetá substitutions. Steve, you said that it seems that they have been injured, but it did bring Çalhanoğlu to the midfield. Did you guys have a problem with Çalhanoğlu?
That was a horrible call by Gattuso. He went and keep on the field un uomo spento. A man that all game did absolutely nothing. A guy like Suso on the field, and Çalhanoğlu that did absolutely nothing. And who did you go take off? You went and take off Paquetá. What are you out of your mind? You should have taken off Suso, not Paquetá.
Okay, so that's a good point. Jan, would you have gone with that? Take off Suso?
I totally agree with Tommy. I mean, after the end of the first half, Paquetá, to me, when you saw the close-ups of his face, he was one of the only players that had a rage on his face, that he was playing with urgency, that he wanted to, be a factor in the game. And then you see the half starts and he's off. I mean, the cherry on the cake would have been Barini coming on for him, but
hey,
He put on somebody else.
Don't. But go
I
ahead.
mean,
Tom.
Gattuso, sometimes I don't understand him. I don't know, how could you keep on Sousa, which was even worse on Sunday than Çalhanoğlu. Çalhanoğlu was, well, there's no description for him, but Sousa this time was even worse. Was even worse than Çalhanoğlu. And you keep this guy on the field. What are you, out of your mind? And you take off Paquetá?
Yeah.
And
also,
had a couple of nice
Castillo
shots.
came in later. He should have come in at the half, I thought, for Suso.
He should have came in. You should have started the game.
He should have started the game, exactly. I think Suso's been off for quite some time.
How about guys? What did you think? How was you? I know, like when we were at the bar, we had kind of a good feeling. Ricardo Rodriguez for Cutrone and going with an attacking formation. How did you guys like that change?
I think he should have played with that since the start, but not having Sousa and Çalhanoğlu on the field, yeah, I would have started with that formation, but with a little change. Maybe make Castillejo play at Sousa's place, and Çalhanoğlu, I would have found something else to compensate. Maybe Kessié, and then start Conti in the back. The way he was playing, because Milan only started attacking once the changes were made. You cannot go in a Champions League, if they're hoping to make Champions League next year, and play 20 minutes out of 90 minutes. That is unforgivable. Now, I said it even two weeks ago, even last week. It was good that we're in the position, but we cannot keep on playing garbage like we are. Even though we're winning, it's been horrible the way they've been playing. Now, he has to do something, whether he has to change his way of thinking or revamp his formation, but his formation of 4-3-3 is not working.
Well, it's not working, but let's be honest, guys.
You want another beer?
It's
Steve?
it's not working, but maybe it's because we're not playing the most informed players at the particular time. Okay, let's give it a little shot.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
4-3-3, and obviously Suso's been suffering. He went through this with Castillejo, with Çalhanoğlu,
Yeah.
where he did not want to sub him out for anybody who was a little bit more informed. He's doing the same thing with Suso. We had a quarter of a season from Suso. A quarter of a season where he's racked up 8 assists. Since then, maybe 1. Unfortunately, guys, that's not good enough.
He's been invisible, just as bad as Çalhanoğlu.
Yeah.
So you would have went what? Like you started with a 4-4-2. You're not going to a 3-man defense, right? You
No,
haven't
we cannot.
experienced.
We
You haven't
cannot.
experienced.
Yeah, I went with a 4-4-2. 4-4-2, that's it.
4-4-2 would have been good,
And put Paqueta in the middle as a trequartista.
and then like we come to that last change, the Conti for Kessié, which was kind of a head scratcher at the moment. Kessié wasn't having a bad game to say, but I didn't understand. I don't know if you guys want to try to attempt to explain this one to me.
And it looked like he was playing right back for a little bit of the time.
Yeah,
I liked when Conti came in playing in front of Calabria. I think I spoke to Steve about this at the bar. It was like, wow, look at this. Now we have 2 guys on the right that can cross it in for Piontek. I think it's better to have Conti playing in the right wing position than Suso. And this will be a bit more solid on the right side. And you move Castillo on the left side for Hakan. And you keep Piontek in the middle working. He worked his ass off yesterday, Piontek. He just didn't get the service. He didn't get the service, but
yeah. So
we got to use, like Steve said, the guy's informed. I think Gattuso, the good thing about him for the players is that he's loyal, and the bad thing about it is that he's loyal, and that he's too loyal with them, and he doesn't bench the guys that are having a hard time. He believes in letting them go through their hardships, which is hurting us in these games now.
Now
Because the problem is, I think Gattuso doesn't have the experience.
Exactly.
Because in Champions League, and like it happened in the Europa League, why did Milan get eliminated? Why? La testa dura, that hard head that he has in keeping players that are not producing on the field. You cannot go through even in Europa League with that, because look at what happened.
yeah, but on
we got to
Look at
remember
what happened.
on the
we're
subject
not
of
going to get Olympiacos and Dudelange in the Champions League.
yeah, On the subject, guys, and that was we're gonna touch base on that fourth presidential points. Piontek, do we have to start worrying? Do we think that the fizzle is gone? It seems like, with the track record of strikers that we have, I personally wouldn't worry. Like President is mentioning names. A la Higuain, a la Andre Silva, a la Kalinic. Like Kalinic actually had scored some goals from over there. But
Kalinic,
guys,
he's probably on a level completely bidon, like out of really garbage. This guy.
Do you guys?
I don't know. Even with an open net, he would miss the net. I mean.
So you guys worry?
This guy is completely on a different. He's a different. On a different category.
So,
there. Let's just put it this way.
So do we worry? Do we worry about Piontek, guys, or too fast, too fluid?
I am not worried about Piontek.
No, I'm not worried about Piontek either. I mean, look, how could you blame your attacker when you don't feed him?
Yeah,
it's like a baby. If you don't feed the baby, will he eat? No.
I don't know.
He did run 10
Yeah,
kilometers.
but these are not babies.
Will he score?
This is not babies. He's got to find
Really
another
not.
way to get involved.
He's got to get another way to
He's
get
got to
involved.
find another way to get involved, guys. It's enough with this no service. I don't care about that. This is Derby della Madonnina. I said it yesterday.
But he's trying.
This
He's
is
trying.
not
He's
Derby
trying.
della Lanterna. This is Derby della Madonnina. Lanterna's nice. Everybody says nice. One person talks at the same time. One person talks at the same
If the
time.
team is not functioning until the last 70th minute, what do you want the guy to do?
We cannot find.
Oh, shit.
We cannot find. Vince hung up on everybody. It's good.
hung up on
this
everybody.
is not Derby della Lanterna. It's a beautiful derby. I love the Genoese, Sampdoria, and Genoa. They light up everything. This is Derby della Madonnina.
Yeah, that happened. Hold on a second over here. Hold on a second. And yeah, I guess the here we go, calling La Derby della Lanterna. I like that, the Lanterna. All right, sorry. I obviously I got to do it every single time there, but we're trying to not talk over each other. But everybody agrees, no stress over Piontek. But in the end, guys, let's close off with this. Are we doing Champions League soccer next year? Yes or no? Steve?
I say yes.
Tommy?
If they have to play the way they're playing, I prefer them not to do the Champions League, get rid of Gattuso, and start fresh next year with a new coach. And a coach that could really revamp the team. Because Gattuso is a guy, yes, he's a good speaker. He could, mentally, he's a good motivator. But other than that, quite frankly, guys, if we are in third or fourth place, it's because of luck too, huh? Let's not forget.
That's enough point to see it. Jan, do you believe we're in Champions League next year?
I believe we are.
Yeah, I believe so.
I hope so. I really hope so. But if we have to go to the Champions League for una brutta figura, I'd rather not go.
No, I can get from over there, but we leave it in the hands of Leonardo and Maldini.
There's $90 million in the Champions League. Brutta figura, no brutta figura.
We're getting $90 million.
The rest you guys are going to be used
but
to
if you have to
China
go to
Lobo.
Champions League and get booed out of the first round,
No
what's
problem.
the use?
No problem. $50 million. $100 million. I'll take it.
And
Okay.
when it could be even 300 million. The
Tommy,
thing is, you have
Tommy,
to win
we
the
need the
Champions
money.
League.
Tommy,
not
we need
to
the money.
finish
FIFA fair play, Tommy. Financial fair play. Financial fair play.
Because Milan
Financial fair
is
play.
win.
Financial fair play.
Win the Champions
Financial
League.
fair play.
Not to
Financial
enter.
fair play.
Forget about
Financial
the
fair
entry.
play.
You gotta win.
Financial fair
It's
play.
enough for the
Financial
thing.
fair play.
Oh, but we got to the
Financial
semis.
fair
You
play.
gotta win.
Financial
Don't be like
fair play.
Juventus that
Financial
gets to
fair
the
play.
final and then
Financial
loses.
fair play.
And this year it's gonna be the
Financial
same
fair
thing. They're
play.
gonna lose.
Financial
For
fair
what?
play.
Because you got into the Champions League.
Financial fair play.
So what?
Okay.
You have to win it.
Guys, I think
Financial fair play.
I think this is the first and last time we're doing tripods. But Tommy and Jan, very entertaining. Thank you for the conversation. But before we leave off, Tommy, there are a lot of people out there that have a beef to pick with you. I'm getting comments on YouTube. I'm getting comments on the WhatsApp, and I have one saying, "Please tell Tommy to stop taking predictions." I got one. Please tell Tommy to stop talking Juventus on a Milan weekly podcast. You're getting a bit
There's
of...
only one thing I'm gonna say. La Juventus è sempre, sarà sempre una grande merda. That's all I can say.
Guys, thank you.
Una grande merda.
Guys,
because even last time they won because of the referee. The first goal was supposed to be called obstruction on the defenseman, and the second goal that Ronaldo scored didn't even go in.
Guys, I love it. I thank you so very much for being on tonight. We'll talk. We're still gonna talk next week because we don't take any weeks off. Jan, once again, thank you very much for the beer yesterday. Thank God I got somebody that could keep pace with me on the beer. Tommy, always entertaining, and we're gonna call you next week. Maybe we're gonna be a bit more calm, and we're gonna stop these three-way calls. But thanks a lot, guys.
Let's hope that we make the Champions League, but in a way that we deserve it. That's all I want.
Tommy wants to be a deserving champion spot.
care.
Steve's with the money. I think I'm with the money too, guys. We bid you adieu. Have yourselves a fantastic evening, and you can listen to yourselves live tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Have
Have a good night, Jan. Have a good night, gentlemen.
Ciao,
Fine gentlemen. Once again, you guys are the best.
You're the best, Tommy. Ciao.
Good night, guys.
Thank you, John.
Okay. Ciao.
Oh,
Now,
man.
guys.
28 messages in the WhatsApp.
There's talking with your heart, and then there's just talking.
Yeah.
This game is economics. It's a business now.
Yeah.
You need the revenue from Champions League.
Yeah,
Whether you're going to show up, whether you're going to be removed in the group stage,
I'm with you, Steve.
to the quarters, to the semis, whatever it is, you need the money. You need not only the money, you need the prestigious honor of being in the Champions League, so players come and play.
Exactly. Can you give me a volume? See if it's because now, guys, because we're feeling blue, right? We're gonna take the questions from the Twitter app using always the hashtag Ask Vinny and Steve. So we're just gonna put a bit of como se dice, a bit of the blues in the background. Let me see.
No blues.
No blues. What do you want?
No blues. Just questions. We're not blues here. Io ci credo ancora. I still believe in this team. I'm pissed off that they didn't show up, but I still believe.
Okay, so we're not putting any music. Steve says no music. We're not putting any music. So let's go to the Twitter machine here. Where is it? The Twitter. Here we go. You know us in technology, eh? Okay, notifications. Ask Vinny and Steve. Oh, you know what I did? I didn't do the other time. Latest. If you go to the latest, you don't have to take a look at where they came out. First one, the Calcio guys. Adrian, what? Che bello giovanotto.
Pezzo de pan.
Huh?
Che pezzo de pan.
He always starts with the buonasera.
Yeah.
Buonasera. First, what do you guys think? What was the reason behind our poor mentality in abysmal first 60 minutes? Also, will Milan be able to put this result behind them and is third place attainable again? We spoke about third place. I'm with there, and I'm with Steve. I'll take the money. I'll definitely I don't want to be embarrassed.
Third place, fourth place. It's attainable. It's still attainable. The thing that hurts the most there, Adriano, is I don't know. I have no explanation for why they came out flat. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't want to chalk it up to inexperience. Guys, come on. These guys are professional soccer players. They understand. It's not the first derby. They laid an egg the first one. And remember what we said the first one. Don't lay an egg on the second one.
Honestly, I hope it's not true, but I think they went in not taking Inter seriously for what Inter has gone through the last 2 months. I don't think they took it. They didn't see Inter as a top team. That's my personal opinion.
That's a colossal fail. I hope that's not true.
I hope it's not true. Hazem, always a fellow guest too. Thoughts on starting Castillejo on the left and moving Çalhanoğlu back to the midfield and giving Paquetá rest for the next couple of games. Looks like he needs it. He's been playing since March. I didn't mind it. Castillejo did his job, and Çalhanoğlu seemed to be more in his element. Great pass on the Bakayoko goal, and it was great to see Bakayoko score.
Yeah.
I think that was something that, and you see straight to La Curva, and let's get back. Let's get back. We have no time to waste over here. No, I wouldn't have a problem with this, but is Castillejo a everyday starter? I think that's the question.
No, but he's a good plugger. You plug him in when people are not performing and make him run. You saw the energy that he brought to the game. He was all over the place. His pressing was high. And unfortunately, that's something that Milan doesn't do good. Our pressing schemes are terrible. We made Inter get out of the back like as if they were Barcelona.
Yeah, that's
Inter is far from Barcelona.
Doctor. We have a doctor last week.
Very
Dr. Talal Alali. A few things that he wanted to share with us. That number one, Hakan was excellent yesterday in midfield. He's not as good as winger. Plus, he has more assists than Suso. We've seen 1 game, 2 games, but I guess future will determine is where he feels the most comfortable. Number 2, when are we going to say enough is enough to Suso's performances? I think you're taking the words out of
I agree, Doctor.
And I think Gattuso needs to sit him down. And at this point, I think Borini, for that matter, Castillejo, just give somebody a chance, right?
Well, not Borini there, but...
New face for Bakayoko when he took Frank's role. He was on fire. Yeah, definitely. And I wish to see him with Billy in the midfield. So he's saying like Bakayoko and
That's
Billy.
a very interesting point. We talked about it yesterday.
Because I think Billy and Bakayoko are the same kind of player, same kind of like midfielder. But then again, at this point, throw shit up at the wall and see what sticks, right?
Well, look, yesterday, again, it's in-game management. It's easy to say now, here, after the game, that we lost 3-2. If they would have tied 3-3, maybe the podcast would have been different.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have been different. I still would have been pissed off because we didn't deserve the tie and we didn't deserve the win. But give yourself a chance. You have Billy on the bench. He had a fantastic game right before the derby. Maybe it would have been a good move to insert him in there, and maybe that change of Kessié-Biglia, maybe you would have avoided an argument. You would have avoided maybe you would have made something positive out of it. Maybe he would have been able to Biglia would have been able to calm the things down a bit. And like we were saying, Jan mentioned it. We look like chickens without a head. Maybe that's when you need that Biglia. That's when you need that calming presence. And Billy and Bakayoko are not the same player.
No, but I mean not the same player. But I find like position wise, but maybe a 4-2-3-1 one day. Who knows? And he was saying that he's saying that the team was terrible in the first half. Obviously, thank you. We've seen the exact same game. And thumbs up for Gattuso to make these early changes.
Thumbs up on the early change.
To the early, yes. But
not the changes.
Not the changes themselves. And
in my opinion, not the changes.
You guys are the best. Cheers up. We'll take the third spot soon. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Frank the Tank. Mulanista. Is it time to change tactics? Piontek is too isolated up front. Paquetá is a waste in the middle and needs to be further up in the field. Do you think it's time for Piontek and Cutrone up front with Paquetá behind them? Guys, you have to remember one time we're not playing FIFA, and I don't mean no disrespect, Frank. It's just that, guys, if one of them gets hurt, what do you do? Like I can get them on, like like Cutrone came on, we take those chances. But if you start Cutrone and Piontek every single time, what's your option?
There's only 10 games left.
Okay.
If it's the time,
no,
it's the time.
No, okay.
I agree with Frank. Sometimes a change is good, and to try it, again. We fall in love with these players, and we gotta have Chanaloblu on the pitch. We gotta have Suso on the pitch. No, guys, we don't. What counts in the end is that these colors, whatever jersey they wear, black and red, get 3 points. That's the way I look at things, guys. I'm not falling in love with anybody. Paquetá yesterday, yes, I hated the change. Did he have a good game? Absolutely not. He gave away the ball. He looked his age yesterday.
He did.
And this is not the first time we say it. Is he tired? I don't know. But that's Gattuso's job to find somewhere to put him. And if it's giving him a rest and then finding a way to put him behind the 2 strikers, put them. Because it changed. Once both of them were up there, it changed and the game was turning. Until the penalty shot, the game was turning. But I agree that yes, you're risking it with the injury bug. But again, guys, 10 games left. We need 3rd place. We need 4th place. Whatever it is to get into the Champions League, you do what you got to do and play the best players.
Wildcat 007 is asking us, Milan are taking care of business with the weaker opponents in Serie A, but if we qualify for Champions League, how will we be able to compete with the European powers when we can't even defeat a weakened Inter squad? It's a good question, and Steve's on the point of money-wise, but guys, let's be honest, if we do Champions League, you're going to have some sort of signings in there.
We will attract other types of players, guys.
And you're going to have to, people like a Çalhanoğlu coming off the bench, or a Suso, for that matter, if one point has to come off the bench. Guys, Juventus, that's what they do.
Yeah.
They have a starting 11 on the bench.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that we're going to do that next year, Steve, right? But in the end,
the building blocks have to start somewhere. You need more than 11 players to play Champions League.
Yeah.
We at this point, guys, I am happy to say I don't think we have 11 players that are Champions League caliber to play in the Champions League. I agree with that. Do we go into next year, and if we get into Champions League, do we buy certain players? Yes. But right now, I think we're missing that, and we show it from time to time, especially in these types of games like this. The derby for us here in North America means a lot to us.
Yeah.
Could you imagine living in the same city as your cousins,
Oh my God.
and it's 2 straight games and not many years now where you have to walk down the street and you have to see the newspaper that says Inter, that was quasi morta, is revived because you know what? In the end, Milan didn't show up.
And then you have guys like our friend Carlo that he's only
Magically
Interista.
appeared.
Yeah,
and magically appeared after the derby.
Carlo, we're gonna call you one of these days. He's trashing me, Carlo Sardelli, my cousin Johnny.
He's a troll. He's a
Yeah,
troll.
obviously we love him. We love him.
He's a Bruins fan.
AC Milan Buckeyes that has his name as Métropole en
Very
français.
nice.
Here's a question for the podcast. If Milan made the Champions League, will it be a mistake if the club doesn't change coaches? We haven't been playing well lately and it caught up against Inter once again. We really offered no tactics in attack. Guys, we haven't been playing well lately. Yes, we've admitted that. But our conversation that we were having before Inter's game was like, okay, we seem to be having that, that Juve kind of effect where even on their worst days, they still come out with points and winning. So, guys, we didn't lose a game since December. Yes, we lost to Inter, and it sucks and it burns. But guys,
We have to settle down.
we have to settle down. I think we let our emotions get the best of us. But if Milan make the Champions League, third spot, which I still believe, no, I'm not changing coaches. That's
No, you can't.
unless a Guardiola or a Conte comes up. Not even Conte. I don't think I would even change to Conte. To if Gattuso brought you to the party, stick with him. AC Milan guru, the Tita Peroni. Look at that. Why are we so incapable of giving Piontek just one? Why are we so incapable of giving Piontek just one? I'm only asking one clear pass for him to shoot on goal. Only asking one per game. Why is it so hard? Why? I know he tried like that back heel at one point. And
No, but that's fine. But he has a point there. The service that Piontek's getting, especially yesterday, was everything in the air. Everything in the air. How about we try to play this guy to foot and see what he can do with the ball? And again, I said it last week. Maybe he has to find another. He has to find another way to contribute. Maybe through assists. Maybe playing off him. We use him as this target where it's only crosses. It's only aerial play. Yesterday, Skriniar, De Vrij, they had everybody. They had Handanovic, they had Wanda, they had everybody on him yesterday. He's surrounded by 3 people. But if he's surrounded by 3 people, that means there's 2 free people.
guys, what did Ibrahimovic do when they started marking him all kinds? He had Nocerino scoring 13 goals.
Exactly.
Boateng, change it up, guys.
Change it up.
I'm not saying Piontek has the skills of Ibrahimovic, but you had to change it up. He became an assist man.
He has to find another way to get involved, guys. The service, no service. I don't know if I could handle it much more.
Nicholas asking us why were the Inter players allowed so much space when our defense has been so tight recently,
Because we had no midfield, Nicholas.
and we don't have that explanation because God knows what I don't know. It's all up here. I don't know what the hell is going on. John Lamorte is asking what dead wood on this team do Milan need to move out this summer in order for Milan to advance and progress as a competitive team. You want a piece of paper and a pen? I
Get
don't know.
ready
Right?
for this. Bertolacci,
Uno, Montolivo.
Morini.
What do you mean?
It's Deadwood.
Borini is Deadwood. He's a good utility player.
Deadwood.
I don't know. Who else would you get rid of? Starting 11,
Jose Mauri.
Laxalt. I don't think Laxalt merited anything to stay. Would you keep him?
No, Laxalt. If this would be the Champions League, you cannot go into it with Laxalt.
Yeah. Who else? Then you have I think other than the guys that you don't see on an everyday basis, because I think you're gonna need that bench, right? You're gonna need that.
You're gonna
strong
need a bench, but that's what I said. Now the players that we are on, not all 11 are Champions League caliber players, guys. Let's face it.
He asks again how we impressed about the subs. We did talk about that before with Jan and Tommy. Clearly, they seem to be outcoached by Spalletti. John. Spalletti does not coach anybody. I think he just got. I think we just we fucked up, guys. We were way on over our heads.
But you know what though? We gotta give the Bond villain some credit. You know, he changed things up a bit. He was back behind the 8 ball. His job was in jeopardy. He doesn't have his best player. He didn't know if he had control of the dressing room, and his players showed up for him. It's kind of like a Gattuso. He pulled a Gattuso. Now, tactically, I'm thinking I'm going to give him credit. I think, you know, he has more experience than Gattuso. He's coached at Rome. He's coached at Fiorentina. He's coached, you know.
Maybe he's able to handle the pressure a lot better.
Be able to handle the pressure and be able to adjust. And I think he adjusted better than Gattuso. What I did like, and let's take some positives out of it, guys, is the guys they fought. They didn't play well, but they fought.
They fought, yeah.
They fought.
You gotta give it to them, guys. They definitely fought. And
we were D'Ambrosio's balls away from tying up this game.
Chris Serrano asks, you know, your thoughts on this post-match comments from Mino. I get criticized at times for being too defensive, but you have to remember the characteristics of the players at my disposal. I've been saying this myself. He's clearly limited by his players. We talked about that before. It's like we don't have game changers to say until Piontek with all his goals and this and that. But I think Gattuso, not to the level of Kessié-Biglia, but his emotions. He always wears them on his sleeves, and this was him with a filter on.
Yeah, and I think I think his inexperience kicked in here.
Yeah,
I think
he was pissed.
Emotionally he was pissed. A lot went on and off the pitch. His players did not show up, and he's played in this game. Now he's managing in this game. To be very honest with you, I think I put this on the Milan PR guy. I would not have made him speak to the media. And this would have avoided a lot of stuff, because he put Kessie and he put Biglia under the microscope. He put a lot of his players now under the microscope, you know, and the media, and it's not their fault all the time, but they do take things out of context. Maybe he's trying to send one message and they're going to spin it another way. I think yesterday, after the derby, he should have been just Rino Gattuso, where, you know what, I'm going to talk, but I'm going to have short answers. I'm going to do a Bill Belichick for all our football fans out there. Just short answers, don't show too many emotions. Or, the flip side of it, yesterday maybe we should have seen the Rino Gattuso from Greece. Sometimes shit, sometimes good.
Milan legend asking questions we already went through. So you think the penalty kick was VAR? We spoke about that. Gattuso subs, obviously we spoke about that as well. And are we confident regaining third spot? I'm a lot more confident in getting Champions League soccer. I think I'm going to go to their Milan legends. And who else is here? Francis doesn't want to ask us any questions.
Guys, but we're 2 points behind Inter now.
Yeah, guys.
At a certain point, guys, we were 20 points behind everybody. We're 2 points behind Inter. We're 4 points in front of Roma. And Lazio still has to play a game in hand.
Guys, we're good. We still have Juve to play, I get it.
Yeah,
and
but that's another thing too, though. And that's another thing that probably pissed everybody off. Roma lost to Spal.
Yeah.
That was another team that we could have distanced ourselves from. So this loss is not only the derby. It's everything that's compiled with the derby. The schedule, the standings. You have to look at these things. It's the derby for significant emotional reasons, but it's also a chance missed to have a little bit of peace in third spot.
And we got Sampdoria in a couple of weeks, and we're gonna think it's Udinese, then we get Juve. So
Sampdoria's tough.
Sampdoria's gonna be tough, guys. Even them, they want to do. They will try to get Europa League spots from over there. Even though we got a 2-week break, international break, so Presidente had one of the points to talk about the Italian call-ups. But I don't think we forget time, but I think right now it was all and no offense to Jan and no offense to Tommy, I think we could have spoken today for the hour that we've been speaking about, just talking about this, because we're very passionate about it, and it hurts even the day after. But let's keep our eyes on the prize, guys. Remember that tweet, the post that I read to you guys from the Milan Club Dublin president is saying, like, you know what, we haven't lost a game since December. stop concentrating on the fact that we lost to Inter, that their team in shambles was still there, right?
Yeah.
And anybody out there that would tell you that they wouldn't be happy at the beginning of the season, saying, by the way, 10 games in, we're going to be 2 points away from third spot, nobody would have said, oh,
No.
I'm not happy with that.
No.
So let's keep that in perspective. Guys, do you have any closing arguments?
Brioche.
Huh? Oh yeah, we do have the brioche. My brioche, my indigestion of the week is Kessié, and the Kessié-Biglia thing to me, that really it pissed me off, guys. It really did, because I think it's the first time I witnessed something like that of Milan. And the Presidente, for him, his indigestion was the Gattuso out, folks back full in swing. Like, he loses one game after 3.5 months. Let's get him out and stuff like that. And 100% will Presidente.
My indigestion of the week is just Milan not showing up for the derby, especially this year. We didn't show up for 2 of them. I'm not afraid to say it. We laid an egg in both of these games. We lost 6 points to our rival cousins. Not acceptable. Not acceptable. Not acceptable.
His Brioche feel-good moment was the team from the Curva Sud with the Hellboy thing. Always entertaining with the Curvas. That was a nice little moment, because other than that, guys, I don't think there's any good feelings about the whole Milan fair. You have any good feeling
about the game? Absolutely not.
About your week and anything come up?
I got a message from Maurizio there, Presidente there in Toronto, which was a nice feel-good moment, and exactly why we do the Milan Club Montreal.
You
Milan
saw
Club
his daughters there dancing.
Yeah, his daughters dancing in front of the TV. Special moment, fantastic on Instagram and Twitter. But also, he had the Toronto guys had someone come in who was a member, but never able to attend the actual games and viewing parties because of where they were showing the games and where he lived.
Okay.
And this guy was he's from Mumbai, India. He did not give me his name. So he never met anybody. He was able to come there and he was able to meet everybody in the bar. He made a whole bunch of new friends. And I'm pretty sure that he's going to be watching the games again when he can get out there. And so that's all what we try to do here with the Milan Club, whether it be Milan Club Montreal, Dublin, New York, Toronto, London.
And even the guys that showed up, let's say at the derby, I know there's a gentleman that I believe he's Algerian, speaks perfect Italian. These guys always come in by themselves, but even though they walk in alone, they feel like they're at home. They sit, we talk. We have the guys from the old guard, we have the guys from the new guard, and even the Interistas that did show up, right? It was, we're not like in Italy that we're going to start punching each other out and this and that. No. We have, those friendly jabs, but they knew not to celebrate too much over there. And that's about it. So guys, ovunque e sempre.
Forza Milan.
See you next week.